text this morning, I would like to use the topic of you only live once, or you know. Some of our older people might want to call it one life to live. In November 2011, hip-hop artist Drake and Lil Wayne introduced a song or a single entitled The Motto. During the spring of 2012, educators across the country probably heard their students recite lyrics from The Motto, among many other rap and R&B tunes. In the chorus of The Motto are the words, "Now she want a photo. You already know though, you only live once, that's the motto, man, YOLO. We body every day, like we sitting on the bench, man, we don't really play. Every day, forget what anybody say. Can't see them cause money in the way, real man, what's up?" It may be the line of the chorus which says, "Only live once, that's the motto, YOLO," which helped to make this song popular. During the late months of 2011 and early 2012, many young people began to embrace the philosophy of YOLO. One news article says that the acronym YOLO has been used on Twitter an estimated 36.6 million times since October 2011. There were some young people who began to use the phrase YOLO as an excuse or as a way to justify their actions. There were children who believed that they didn't have to listen to their parents' instructions because they only lived once. There were students who believed that they didn't have to study or complete their work because they only lived once. Some people said they didn't have to spend money, said they could spend money that they didn't have because they only lived once. Teenagers said they could drive their cars as fast as they could because they only lived once. Teenagers said they could get as drunk or as high as possible because they only lived once. Young adults began to demand the morals and beliefs that their parents, grandparents, and the church had instilled in them because they only lived once. The phrase, "you only live once," is a true statement. You only live once upon this earth. This morning I'm not suggesting that our Christian lives should be dull and boring. However, I believe that it does not hurt to use a little caution every once in a while. James 4:14 suggests to us that life is like a mist or a vapor which appears only for a short time and soon vanishes away. This passage of scripture simply suggests to us that life is short. We don't really have as much time as we think we have in life. We need to do more than just live life. We must remember that we have only one life to live, and we subscribe to make the most of each day. This would be our goal, to leave behind a legacy that our children and other family members can be proud of. In our text today, we found the story of a young man who might have adopted a YOLO philosophy or motto in his life. In the 15th chapter of Luke, Jesus tells a parable about a rich man who had two sons. The younger of the two sons was like many teenagers or young adults in our society today. He was ambitious and he was anxious about starting life away from the supervision of his father and other adults. He had hopes, dreams, and aspirations which made him long for life in the city. One day, this eager young man asked his father for his share of his father's estate, or what would be his inheritance. So the father divided his property between the younger son and the older son. A few days after the younger son received his portion of the property, he set out on a journey to a far country. When the young man reached the far country, he started to live a wild and loose life. This wild and loose lifestyle ultimately caused him to be without money or anything to eat. Finding himself without any money, this young man looked for work. This young man found a job feeding or slopping hogs. Based on what I remember as a